never seen a police officer have to shoot someone in the back seat in a vehicle that has been handcuffed before. And it's something that I've never seen.
In a civil rights trial that began Monday, a federal judge has ruled a man was falsely arrested by 2 Huntsville police officers.
Following that ruling, the jury awarded Roland Edger $75,000 in damages.
Tonight, the officer who fired the shot, a 12-year veteran of the force, is facing multiple charges, including attempted murder.
A politician learns his fate after a legal battle.
The Adams County DA calls a former Thornton police sergeant's behavior extreme, but says it wasn't criminal. During an arrest earlier this year, the former sergeant broke the suspect's back and busted open his head.
Aaron Adelson from our 9 News Investigates team explains the prosecutor's decision.
I'm glad you made it down.
A suspect arrives to a hotel thinking he'll have girl, but it's a sting. And inside an undercover Thornton police car, the officers wait for the signal.
Buzz signal, buzz.
In seconds, the suspect will get injured. The body camera doesn't quite capture what happened, but a poll camera reveals about 3 seconds after the officers order the suspect on the ground, former Sergeant Rusty Waters tackles the suspect on ice, causing him to fall onto his head. This happened on February 8th of this year. The suspect has since pled guilty and at a court hearing told 9 News he still has a wound on his head. The sergeant will not face any charges. The DA wrote, "I find Sergeant Waters' conduct to be overly aggressive, uncontrolled, and irresponsible." Yet the DA decided he could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt Waters intended to injure the suspect. Aaron Adelson, 9 News.
State records show that Thornton police fired Waters in August. Thornton police won't tell us why, because Waters has appealed his termination.
Good morning. Welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really do appreciate it. We're going to start our day out in West Virginia, where we have an SRJ correctional officer who's been arrested for burning down the former governor's Beckley home. Crazy. Okay, Beckley, West Virginia. A Beckley man has been arrested following a fire that broke out on October 20th on Crestview Drive in Beckley. The home was that of former West Virginia Governor Hewlett C. Smith. David C. Cole, age 30, of Beckley, was taken into custody by officers from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office. Cole faces charges of first-degree arson and conspiracy to commit a felony. Cole is also an employee at Southern Regional Jail. Oh, Cole is currently being held in the Southern Regional Jail as he awaits arraignment. Oh, he's hanging out with his buddies. Authorities have indicated that they expect to make an additional arrest in connection with the fire in coming days. All righty. Thanks for being here today, folks.
According to court filings, mechanic Roland Edgar was fixing a customer's car in a church parking lot after hours when the church's security guard called police. When Huntsville police officers arrived, they asked for his driver's license, which he did not give them. The officers put Edgar in handcuffs, took him to jail, and charged him with obstructing governmental operations. The city eventually dropped the charge against him.
Edgar filed a civil rights lawsuit alleging violation of his Fourth Amendment rights against unlawful searches and seizures. A federal judge initially granted the officers qualified immunity, essentially finding they acted within the law, but that decision was overturned by an appeals court last year. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals said that police have the right to ask identifying questions, but the court said under Alabama law, Edgar was not required to provide his physical ID, and the officer demanding it clearly violated the law with the arrest. A jury found that Edgar should be awarded $75,000 in compensatory damages against officers Krista McCabe and Cameron Perilliot. He was also awarded $1,000 in punitive damages, according to federal court documents filed Thursday.
We spoke to his attorney, Hank Sordid, who said his client was relieved the case had been resolved successfully, and that for him it was about standing up for what was right.
You know her? You know her? Are you here to help her? Take me now. Right here. Sorry about you. I'm sorry.
Now, that was the scene, okay? September 12th, 8 o'clock in the morning. That white SUV was parked on the side of the road. The man's girlfriend and children were in that vehicle. He says he'd gotten out to go and retrieve a hat that was on the side of the road. Now, we spoke to him. News 4's Darcy Spencer spoke to him within days of when this happened. Here's what he had to say.
I thought I died on that highway.
You thought you were hit by this gunfire?
Yes. As soon as my ears stopped ringing, I turned around and asked the officer, why did he shoot me?
Tonight, the officer who fired the shot, a 12-year veteran of the force, is facing multiple charges, including attempted murder.
Okay, guys, we have another bad apple to tell you about as we're banging through the headlines here. It's a St. John the Baptist Parish Sheriff's Office deputy who's been arrested for excessive force. Okay, a former St. John the Baptist Parish Sheriff's Office deputy was arrested Friday after an incident involving him using excessive force. He's now former. Nicholas Bordelin, age 33, was arrested on October 25th, okay, after an investigation into an incident that happened on October 12th. Well, body camera footage from the incident showed Bordelin using excessive force during an arrest and showed him hitting a suspect multiple times with a closed fist. After seeing the footage, Bordelin was terminated on October 14th, and the investigation was taken over by the St. John Sheriff's Parish Criminal Investigation Division, who obtained a warrant for his arrest. Now, Bordelin has been employed with the St. John the Baptist Parish Sheriff's Office since 2022. Okay. Now, the bad apple, right here on the Bad Apple Report.
Well, according to the lawsuit, Christopher Huffman claims his direct supervisor violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. Today, his attorney, Shonda Brown, told me it all stems from an injury Huffman sustained while in combat that affected his ability to write and express thoughts in written form. Brown says Huffman's disability takes him longer to write, sometimes resulting in typos. She claims he was called stupid and other derogatory terms by his supervisor, who made fun of his writing skills, comparing him to an 8th grader. According to the lawsuit, the city did not provide Huffman with additional accommodations, such as extra time to write reports, which he had requested. I did reach out to the Columbus City Attorney's Office, which shared the following statement. Quote, while we do not know the validity of any such claims, the City Attorney's Office takes any allegation of employer misconduct seriously. We have received and are currently reviewing this lawsuit, and as such have no further comment at this time. Huffman's attorney claims he still wants to work in law enforcement, and this has severe repercussions on his career.
When you have these types of things in your record, at least for Mr. Huffman, where they're saying he can't perform these job functions or were let go or recommended for termination, that type of blight on your record makes it really hard to find a position anywhere else.
Huffman was employed as a probationary officer for the Columbus Division of Police from November of last year to June of this year. He was recommended for termination due to his report writing skills, and he later resigned that same day. Now, tonight at 6:15, I'll walk you through what he's seeking in damages.
And what do we have here this morning, folks? Ogden Police School Resource Officer arrested for sexual exploitation of a minor. A school resource officer from the Ogden Police Department has been fired after allegations of sexually exploiting a minor and tampering with evidence on Thursday. Okay, in a press release, the department was informed of criminal allegations against 55-year-old Colton Johansson of Ogden. He's a school resource officer from another law enforcement agency. All right, according to arrest documents, Johansson underwent a polygraph examination for a lateral position related to school security on October 8th. During the examination, Johansson disclosed incidents that are criminal in nature. The documents say that Johansson took a box of case files from evidence that contained images of adults and children in various states of nudity to his home for personal gain. According to the documents, police obtained a search warrant for Johansson's home on Thursday and found the box containing the case files leading to his arrest. Upon learning of these disclosures, a criminal case was immediately opened and referred to the Davis County Sheriff's Office. The Ogden Police Press statement said, Johansson was arrested Thursday on several criminal charges, including sexual exploitation of a minor, tampering with evidence, and official misconduct, according to the department. Okay, the police department said an internal affairs investigation was initiated and found that Johansson's alleged activities did not happen when acting as a school resource officer. The Ogden Police Department remains dedicated to, we're not going to read that. We don't really care. All right, look at that. And there's another spokesperson saying, it's not all of us. And sure is a lot of them, because we see them every day right here on the Bad Apple Report.
And here's video of what happened from APD.
You need to step out right now. Come on.
Why?
What
do you have in your hand, dude?
A gun.
Yo, dude. Go. Stop, dude. Dude, stop. Gun. Hey, move. Get it. Gun. APD Chief Harold Medina says once all the lapel camera video is released, we will hear a conversation among officers indicating they were concerned about not fully searching Garcia before putting him in that patrol unit.
Meanwhile, Garcia's parents say they're not only upset, of course, about the shooting, but they also say they had to find out just from people there on the street that their son had been killed.
We are just devastated by what had happened to our son. Him being in the back of that vehicle and not being searched before he was put in that vehicle was uncalled for. He should have been searched before he was put in that car.
Now, Chief Medina was also there at the meeting last night. He says some early misinformation about how and when Garcia was shot has made it difficult so far for police. But he asked for patience while people wait for more info and also that the rest of the video to come out too.
Misinformation has driven this in a very negative direction. The individual involved and their family, officers and their families, they deserve to have proper information. Right off the back, there was some extremely disturbing, improper information that went out. The key thing here is we need time to conduct an investigation to get through the facts, to get all the information out, and to be able to ensure that we're giving officers their due process.
I believe we have our knucklehead of the day, you guys. It's a Villa Platte officer who's been arrested and charged with malfeasance in office. What did he do? All right, Villa Platte, Louisiana. A Villa Platte police officer was arrested and charged with malfeasance in office after letting two suspects in a shooting go without cause. According to the Villa Platte City Marshal's office, Loomis Lestraps was taken into custody Monday night in connection with arrests made Friday night at a high school football game. Oh, Loomis. Two men were arrested following a shooting near Villa Platte High School during the high school's homecoming football game when they were found with a gun in a gun-free zone. At least one of them was identified by Villa Platte marshals as Lawrence Petrie, and he's a friend or relative of Lestraps. Oh, Lestraps, you're in trouble, man. Officials said Lestraps allowed the two men to go free while city marshals were obtaining warrants. The men allegedly told Lestraps the marshals were planning on releasing them anyways. The two men were released, and they're still wanted. They're at large, officials said. Lestraps was taken into custody Monday night without incident, authorities said, and he was released on $10,000 bond. Oh, you guys. Lestraps is probably watching the Bad Apple Report this morning. Hey, Lestraps. Thanks for being here today, folks. On with the show.
Sollers told Judge Mark Goldsmith he was there to take accountability for his actions, which included bribery and wire fraud, crimes that took place over a period of years as he served as mayor. He and his attorney, Todd Flood, spoke about the impact the ordeal has had on his family. They hoped the judge would give him a sentence of 24 months of home confinement, but Judge Mark Goldsmith handed down the maximum. In his remarks, he cited Sollers' own actions, which involved accepting home repairs in the amount of $80,000+ from a real estate developer in exchange for tax foreclosed properties owned by the city of Taylor. Judge Goldsmith noted the exchange was not a one-off thing, instead noted it was systematic and took place over a period of years and only stopped when Sollers was caught. He told Sollers, in essence, he sold his office, calling his behavior a, quote, horrendous breach of trust by a public official.
The judge also telling that court that sentence was as punishment, but also to deter other public officials. Once he has completed that sentence, he'll have to serve 3 years of supervised release. He also has to pay a $10,000 fine.
Here we have a former Low Country deputy who's been charged with assault and battery. Agents of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, charged a former Dorchester County Detention Center deputy with assault and battery in the third degree on Wednesday, October 23rd, following an incident that occurred in August this year. What happened, you guys? According to the probable cause affidavit accompanying the warrant for his arrest, former Dorchester deputy Antoine Newton, only age 33, allegedly assaulted a detainee at the jail by striking the victim several times on August 13th. The affidavit noted that the detainee had allegedly complied with Newton's instructions and ceased resisting deputies who had been attempting to restrain him prior to the assault. Nonetheless, Newton allegedly took advantage of his ability to injure the victim and cause harm. Newton was booked into the Dorchester County Detention Center. He awaits prosecution by the Public Integrity Unit, a collaboration of the SC, First Circuit, blah, 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 and all this stuff. The unit consists of senior-level attorneys. Okay, a bunch of stuff is happening with that guy. As with anyone accused of committing a crime, he's considered innocent and all that good stuff. Okay, that's the deal. Low Country deputy charged with assault and battery.
He said on NBC Montana Today in April that he was wounded while serving in Afghanistan. He explained that not reporting wounds is against military rules, but being off the battlefield, away from his team, was not an option for him.
I hid that. I was injured and hid it for years. Eventually, I was injured hiking with my family, so I went to the hospital to get it checked out, and they wanted to file a police report. And for me, especially at that time, 2015, the war was still going on. I had teammates overseas. It wasn't an option to have them get brought in into an investigation. So, very simple story, but of course, blown out of proportion in the focus of this race. And it was weaponized by our opponent.
Peach says he was dispatched after a gunshot was heard at Logan Pass in October of 2015. Later, he'd meet Sheehy and his family at a Kalispell emergency room. There was no denial of the incident. The fine was paid, and Peach went as far as to claim he could tell the Sheehys were somewhat traumatized by the incident. The former park ranger says Sheehy's story of being shot in Afghanistan is disrespectful to combat wounded veterans, saying he couldn't let it slide. He says this could all be solved if Sheehy released the emergency room records. I reached out to Sheehy's campaign to request an interview or to answer these questions if denied. What is the campaign's response to Kim Peach publicly coming forward and disputing Mr. Sheehy's story? And is there a reason the emergency room records have not been released? Sheehy's campaign declined my request for an interview, but did provide a statement. The statement does not answer my question about why the emergency room records have not been released. In summary, the statement says Peach is partisan and says he's being used as a last-ditch effort by Senator John Tester to disparage Sheehy. The campaign says Sheehy will not let this slander keep him from fighting as Montana's next senator. The next portion of the statement reiterates the claim that the bullet wound is from Sheehy's time serving in Afghanistan, listing reasons he didn't report it, including to avoid being pulled from battle, triggering an investigation, and not having a fellow soldier punished. The campaign also claims the media is in cahoots with Tester and his allies to tear Sheehy down. You can read the full statement on our homepage, NBCMontana.com. Peach identifies as a Democrat and tells me he previously voted for Tester and probably will again.
There's going to be people that see this story 2 weeks before the election, and they're going to say this is partisan junk, essentially. What's your response to that?
Yeah, that's the other thing, I guess, that, I'm telling everything up front. When asked if I was a Democrat or Republican or how I vote, I could have lied.
Voters will have their say on the matter in less than 2 weeks.
There to face it all was the new police chief, Paul Humphrey, also addressing a lengthy U of L study that looked back at centuries worth of racial discrimination and abuse at the hands of local police.
I need to be able to explain to officers what's going on with their department and the decisions that are being made, just as much as I need to be able to explain that to the community so that they're comfortable with doing those types of things.
Also coming soon, the U.S. Department of Justice consent decree and its oversight of 35 required changes. The leaders on the panel said they've already implemented many of the recommendations from the DOJ's consent decree. But Chief Humphrey said there's always more work to be done.
Yes, indeed. There is always work to be done. And that's why right here on the Bad Apple Report, we will continue to highlight these knuckleheads that make the news. That's right. We thank you so much for being here every day to watch the Bad Apple Report. You people are awesome. You make my day, especially all of you right here in the comments section. You're my favorite people. Okay. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. bright and early.